Hey there guys, so earlier today I did a live stream, and during the live stream we worked on the boss, figured it out a little bit, and we got a rank 1 score during the live stream. You can watch the replay for that if you want on my channel. It's kind of long though. After that I went back and I've been practicing the boss a bit. We've now got some more data on the boss's actual AI and skills. And I'm going to be doing another rank 1 guide. It's basically going to be the same general concept as you saw or you might have seen on my stream. Same exact team. I've just adjusted the gear, adjusted the rotations, and I can explain a little bit more what's going on with this boss. Now, it is still day 1. The event is 2 weeks long. Over the course of the 2 weeks, I will be brainstorming and trying to figure out alternative guides to both rank 1 and budget clear this. I know, this morning, as soon as the boss was out, already people were saying, give me some alternatives, give me different teams, etc. I do plan to, I want to, it's just going to take time. So the guide you're about to see right now is going to be using, expensive gear, meta units, etc. You can very certainly replace some of this, but for me to do guides on replacements, I just need time. We've got 2 weeks. I will have more videos, but we're going to be doing a rank 1 clear with one that I've run a few times. I've optimized and it works pretty well. So here is the same team you saw me use. You might have seen me use this morning. I have to stop assuming that everyone saw the live stream, but this is the party. So things that are important. Starting Kresnik in the shift form, and then starting Esther in the base form, and Sky in the base form. Other than that, whatever. So here's the party, and let's get into it. All modifiers turn on, and I will show the gear and all at the end, and I'll explain. I'm still not 1000% on the boss, but I'm more familiar with what the boss does at this point. So, the boss starts off with an ambush of 4-stack Mirage. So we're going to start Esther in the base, then we're going to shift, and we're going to dual wield the Barrage materia. That's going to hit 8 times and get through the boss's Mirage stacks on turn 1. They cannot be dispelled. You also need to hit the boss with either water, ice, or dark damage every single turn. You don't got to do all of them, just one of them is fine. But you've got to do at least one of them every single turn. To seal the boss and stop bad things from happening. So there we go. The Mirage is gone. We've hit the boss with a water weapon with Esther, so the boss has been sealed. Now, this turn, on turn 1, the boss is going to, among other things, do 6 single target magic attacks that ignore cover and ignore provoke. The way he chooses targeting, he's going to use one of these 6 to each of these following criteria. The unit with the currently highest attack power, magic power, defense, spirit, HP, and MP. So 6 of those are going to go out. Now the highest spirit one is going to go to either Chow or Kresnik. They both have enormous spirit. We don't really care. The highest attack power one is going to go to Sky because we're going to shift her on this turn and do her shifted LB. That's to accuracy down the boss as well. Now the boss does remove our evasion on some turns, but the early turns that is not the case. So with accuracy down, plus 50 evasion on everyone, we're not going to worry about the physical stuff. But that's going to get Sky hit with the attack power thing. We didn't actually buff yet. Let's use Chow to Kind Protector for Provoke. We're going to True Guardians for 60% General Mitt, and Focused Inspiration for Magic Mitt for the party. It's also a big stat buff. Now you can see our Sky has 8,600 attack power, which is going to be the highest. Oh, actually 8,663. Oh wow, she beats my EX2 Kaito by only 10 points. We almost got Kaito to take it. And I'd rather Kaito take it because, as you notice, Kaito has enormously higher spirit and HP, but maybe I can move some gear around and drop Sky's attack power by 10 points. But anyway, Sky is going to guts that attack. 2 of them will go to Roberta because she's got the highest MP and magic on the party. I think 1 goes to Esther because in this form she has the highest defense in the party. Spirit goes to Kresnik, actually Chow, which is fine, he's a tank. And then that's all 6 of them, I think. In any case, we're going to survive them. But Sky's going to guts hers. So we're going to, with Kaito, use Crashing Waves to break the boss. We're going to do Aqua Infusion, And we're going to do few words. I don't remember why I'm doing this, but I had a reason, and we're doing it. So there we go. Roberta in the shift form. Now, the Roberta in the shift form is using really high spirit gear because she's going to eat 2 of these attacks. So we're going to morale fill. We're going to use Magnus, and we're going to do dragon mitigation. And Kresnik is going to arcane stimulant. So Roberta's going to get hit really hard. Make sure you door pod all her stats. But she should survive this with the gear I've given her. And then Sky will probably guts hers. And then we will evade all the physicals. So there's Sky, gutsing. 2 of them on Roberta, 1 on Esther, 1 or 2 on Chow and Kresnik. And there we go. And I'm going to move some gear around and get Sky's attack power lower than Kaito's. Because I wasted her guts for Sky. It's not really a waste, honestly. We're not going to need it for the rest of the fight. But yeah, there it is. Okay, turn 2. Now we're going to use the limit on Chow. That's for Omni cover, mostly so he counters more. Also, it's going to protect us from the physical damage. Sky is going to go to the base form, where we're going to Magnus and then just hit the boss 2 times. Doesn't really matter what. We're going to have Kaito go to the base form, where we're going to, let's see, Receding Tide, Swelling Current, and we're going to Cascading Slash. That's going to give us really big fairy and dragon mitigation, even bigger than Roberta's. So we're going to be really tanky for the rest of the fight. Esther is going to go to the base form and just Bolting Strike 3 times to fill her LB gauge. Roberta to the base form, where we are going to Morale Fill. We're going to use Support for AoE 5-stack Mirage, and we're going to Mega Breath. And Kresnik is going to Arcane Antioxidant. Now this turn, the boss is going to do a bunch of multi-element magic attacks that Chow is going to cover. Kresnik on this turn is going to cure all these imperils on Chow and give him an 80 to resist all buff, so all 8 elements will deal a lot less damage. So we did that, and now Chow's resistances are all on the positive, so the magical damage, he's going to mostly just shrug off this turn, not a problem at all, even though he's Omni covering. Okay, so, also at the top of the screen, we can watch here, the boss is going to say something, we should do something. Or he said it the previous turn. Okay, I forgot to mention that. Whoopsie. Okay, so on turn 1, the boss said something like, hit me with a normal, or hit me with a physical attack, or hit me with magic, use an LB, guard a party member. I think that's all the combinations the boss says to do. Whatever he says to do, if you do it, the boss doesn't do any kind of penalty. We must have done it just anyway. Like maybe the boss said, I didn't save, my bad. Maybe he said use an LB, and we did. Maybe he said hit me with physical damage, we did. So whatever it was, we just did it naturally during that turn. If we hadn't done it, that is okay, because sometimes the boss is going to say, for example, guard a party member. No thank you. I will not be obeying that command, because guarding a party member is going to just waste someone's turn, and I'm not about that. So by disobeying the Simon Says, the only penalty is an AoE mana drain, which, depending on your party, could be a problem. But on this party, we're using Chow, and Chow counterattacks mana refill. So even if the boss mana drains us, it's not going to matter. Chow's going to counter, we're going to start our turn back at full mana regardless. So you can completely and totally ignore the boss's Simon Says gimmick with this party that we're using. Because we can always just... The only penalty is a mana drain. And a small morale loss. Not much, though. Anyway, let's resume the fight. So turn 3, the boss is going to be doing a decent chunk of physical damage. Now, our Chow is Omni covering, and we're not super bulky. We are using some auto physical mitt. So we're just going to guard Chow to let him survive this. You could golem this turn if someone had a free action. No one really does on my party. So we're going to use the LB of Kresnik. This is another way to refill mana, just in case you got mana drain and Chow didn't counter. That would refill your mana as well. We're going to go to the base form with Roberta and LB her to, buff the party. We're going to LB Esther to put up the field. We're going to LB Sky to stack her up. And we're going to have Kaito go to the shift form, where we're going to Downpour, Torrential Downpour, and we're going to Destabilizing Form and Deep Submersion. That's going to reapply the brakes on the boss. Also, it's going to hit the boss with water damage to seal him. Okay. Okay, so you saw at the top, Shenmon says nothing. That means the Simon says this turn is no requirements. We can just ignore him. There is no instruction, which means there's no penalty. So free turn basically. But again, even if it wasn't a free turn, we really don't care in this party. We would just take the mana drain and shrug it off because Bringer of Wealth will refill our mana regardless. And here we go, Chow countering nice little LB fill. So we're going to be bursting on turn 5. Turn 5 is a really great turn for Chow to burst because that keeps his focused inspiration nice and set up. So we're just going to go ahead and put up regular cover. Notice we're not using physical cover this turn. That's okay. So we're going to do that and then, whoops, not that. We're going to physical cover and then True Guardians and Most Loyal just for the morale fill. Roberta is going to shift this turn where we're going to do morale fill. We're going to do Stone for the big spirit and defense buff. And we're going to do Dragoon's Aim. Alright, Sky to the base form where we're going to type this as Spirit. Kaito on this turn is going to get us set up for bursting next turn. Unfortunately, Kaito's Magnus is only a 2-turn duration. So we're going to Magnus for the Imbue. We're going to then just Cascading and Tranquil. There's nothing really else to do. We could do this stuff. We already did it though. So we're just going to do all this. Let me double check that I actually did the killers. I'm pretty sure I did. Did I do the killers? I'm almost certain I did. Yes, we did. Okay, we did. So Kaito's going to just do that. Esther is going to get herself ready for the bursting with, Magnus and double bolting. Okay, so this turn is going to be another one of those, I forget what it's called, praying, I don't know, the single target stuff that hits your highest, HP, attack power, magic, etc. But this turn, we've got all the mitigations from Kaito. The morale bar is full at this point. We've got big breaks on the boss. So the damage this turn is significantly lower. Also, Sky's in the base form with lower attack power, so Esther is going to be eating the attack. Now, we're going to do Medicinal Mastery for AoE re-raise. That's important for the threshold. Then we're just going to do Antioxidant to cure imperils and Potion to just top off the party in case anyone needed it. Okay, so here is the, I forget what it's called, something Fey, Cruel Fey. It's going to hit the party 6 times. It shouldn't kill anyone. And if so, we have guts on the ones that it might kill. So here it is, Cruel Fey. 20k on Esther, double hit on Roberta, a few of the single hits on Chow, whatever. Some physical damage on Chow, not a big deal. The boss might do an AoE physical. If he does, we should have Mirage stacks remaining from the turn 2 or 3 that we did it with Roberta. So we're good. So here's some counters, etc. Now is our burst turn. So we're going to use Esther to base form burst. We're going to use Kaito to shifted burst. This is extreme Nova frames. That's going to chain with Esther. Sky is going to do her cap. Roberta to the base form. We're going to quad tag chain. We're going to do the attack and magic buff. And that's it. We're going to chain these guys. Now, during the threshold, let's go ahead and do our damage first. So we're going to go ahead and start the chain with this. Wait just a moment. Then we're going to send the other guys. That'll also give us the 100 count chain score for the mission. Now, this should very comfortably overcap by 2.5 billion or better. Now we're all going to die and re-raise on the threshold. We've got AoE re-raise from Kresnik. So we're just going to use things that'll fill the morale gauge to make sure we get that morale score guaranteed filled. So we're just going to use some stuff that just fills that morale gauge so that, when we finish the fight, the morale score is not at like 29.9 or something. Okay, here comes the threshold. We did 30 billion, or 3 billion. We only needed 2.5. Yeah, this team comfortably overcaps very, 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 very safely. There should be no variance rolling with this party. So there it is. So we died and lost all our buffs on this turn. The boss has some undispellable buffs. This is where, like, Kaito is like, this is my Clash of Wills. I'm going to carry you and get rid of these threshold buffs that no one else in the game can get rid of. Kind of cheeky, but, it works. So here we go. So the boss cured his breaks. He didn't cure his imperils or weapon imperils or accuracy, but all his breaks are gone, and he buffed himself. So we're going to use, also the boss gained his Mirage stacks again. That is very important to keep note of. So we're going to have Kaito shift to the shift form, where we're going to do Unpredictable Tide to get rid of the boss's threshold buffs. Then we're going to Crashing to break the boss, and we're going to do, let's see, where is it? Destabilizing form. That is not it. I should have wrote the skill down. That's not it. Hold on. Deadly Stream. It's one of these. Here it is. We're going to do Deadly Stream. This is an all weapon in peril, which we don't technically need. We already have weapon in perils with the weapon we're using, but it's a 90% defense break. So we're going to Deadly Stream. And let me actually adjust this real quick. There we go. I had the name written down on my chart wrong. Okay, we're going to do Magnus and double bolting on Esther to get rid of the boss's Mirage, etc. Sky is going to Sharp Spear, right? Yeah, Sharp Spear, Furious, and Batterings to hit the boss twice to get rid of the stacks of Mirage in the base form. Roberta and Esther are going to Morale Fill, Dragon Mitigation. We don't have Dragon Mitigation, and we're going to Mega Breath to get ready for bursting in a moment. Chow is going to, he's already got cover from re-raising. So we're going to Protector, we're going to True Guardian, and we're going to Focused Inspiration. Yes. And then Kresnik is going to start re-raising the party. This is just for the absolute safety. So we're going to re-raise Chow, we're going to re-raise himself, and we're going to re-raise Kaito. These are the most critical units. Also this turn, we're going to do the defense and spirit buff to just make sure. And we're going to do, no, we're not going to do the other one. Okay, so we're going to re-raise Chow, himself, and Kaito. Now, no one should die this turn, realistically, because the boss is not doing Cruel Fey. I guess there's a small chance that Chow dies. Probably not. Now, you saw the boss in his little Simon Says. Oh, wow. A lot of damage on Chow. Oh, and a physical attack on Roberta. That is unfortunate. Sometimes that'll happen. You know what I could do is... Well, Roberta has guts, so no, Roberta's fine. Worst case, because Roberta has no evasion in this form. So Roberta has no evasion at all, so she got hit. Yeah, because because evasion does work that turn. Notice we don't have evasion down. The boss has accuracy down. So anyone with 50 or better evasion would be safe from the physical. Roberta in the base form has no evasion at all because I'm going for high damage. You could give Roberta 50 evasion, lower your damage a little bit. It'd probably be fine. Or you could just guts it if the boss does a physical attack on turn 6. It is RNG if the boss does AoE physical that turn or not. Okay, so we're going to burst the boss on this turn, but we're going to not be able to finish him with this turn. That's okay, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Esther to LB. Also, we don't have imbues or anything right now, so we have to do that first. So we're going to use Kaito to go to the base form. We're going to Magnus. We're going to Torrential Downpour for the killer buff. And we're going to do Aqua Infusion to amplify himself. Keep in mind, Kaito's Water Amplify is a long cooldown. We don't have any Water Amplify at all right now. So our damage is going to be relatively low for the finish off, but that is okay. So we're going to now use Sky to shift the LB to Cap. We're using Extreme Nova with Esther. We're going to use Kresnik to Extreme Nova as well with Lightning Bolt Barrage. And then Roberta is going to just quad Mystic Breath. We did the Spear Imperil already from the Magnus last turn on Sky. We're going to attack and magic buff. We're also going to accuracy up. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this, and then we will do Chow in a moment. So we're going to go ahead and send these guys. So Kresnik is chaining with Esther. Sky is capping. We're not going to finish the boss. That is really high variance. In all my test runs, the boss gets to about 10% health in this turn. I guess with variance, maybe you can finish the boss off here. We didn't. That's okay. It was planned for us to not finish him this turn. So Chow is now going to give us the full safety. So we're going to re-raise Esther. We're going to re-raise Sky, and we're going to re-raise Roberta. So between Kresnik last turn and Chow this turn, the whole party has re-raise. So here we go. So this turn, a little bit of a roll of the dice. People may die. The boss is going to be very low health regardless. As long as like 2 people survive, you're going to finish off the boss, not a problem. So here we go. Some decently high damage on Chow. We are evading a lot of it. The accuracy, the evasion debuff is on the party. As you can see, the boss is doing some physicals. That was a pretty minor turn. The boss only did 1 AoE physical, and it didn't really kill anyone. Also, the boss that turn did not use Cruel Fey. So anyway, now it's a super easy clear, super easy finish. Just whoever is still standing, finish him off. So we're going to go ahead and do attack and magic buff. Sky's LB is not full, so we will triple bolting. We will also triple bolting with Esther. Now we're going to use Kaito to shift and do his shifted LB, which is the Great Wave Assault, which is Extreme Nova Frames. We're going to chain it with Kresnik. Roberta is going to do his or her quad this. If Sky's LB was ready, we could have used Sky's LB and then used Chow to shift and chain bolting with Esther instead, triple bolting. We didn't get Sky's LB, so we're going to bolting with her, so Chow can just fill morale gauge. So there we go, and chain this up. And there you go. There is the end of the boss. Okay, so yeah, with this team, it's a very relaxing, no RNG clear. Well, a little bit of RNG, but not much. We don't gotta farm variants. We don't really gotta worry about like chromatic wave or anything. Like the worst thing is 1 or 2 turns the boss may use a bunch of AoE physicals that we're not properly set up for, but that's okay. Perfect score. There it is. So here's our damage breakdown. Variance is a thing, up and down. Tidebringer Kaito did spend an extra turn buffing because we couldn't do his. He had to imbue the party on turn 7, was it? Yeah, turn 7. So there it is. There's a damage breakdown. I wish we could have a 1-turn damage breakdown for a bit of a better accuracy readout. But there you go. So okay, so let's go ahead and look at the gear and all, and then we will go over potential unit swaps. So unit swaps that could work. The 2 people that didn't really bring anything majorly critical, surprisingly enough, were Esther and Sky. Those both can definitely be swapped out. Not that big a deal. So can Roberta, kind of. Roberta's a little bit more important because we do use her mitigation buff on turn 1. Also, Roberta gears for the provoking roll, or the soak roll for the cruel stuff pretty easily. Makes turn 1 a lot more reliable. So I'd say Roberta's kind of a big deal, but is technically replaceable. So yeah, Roberta, Sky, and Esther can all leave the team. Not a big deal. Easily replaceable with this strategy. On the other hand, Kaito, Kresnik, and Chow are sort of a big deal for this party. Kresnik mostly for the morale fill because we need to fill morale quickly. Also, he does the resist all buff, which is a little bit of a big deal. Also, he does AoE re-raise, which makes the threshold kind of a big deal. Now again, all of those things I said could be replaced by other units. So Kresnik, again, is not an absolute requirement, but Kresnik is very, very helpful. Chow is, again, a big deal because he has huge magic mitigation for the party. His focused inspiration buff is a really big help to let the party survive the Cruel Fey attacks. Not to mention Chow does Omni cover and counter a little bit. Now we're not using a full counter build, just a little bit of counter, but it does help the morale. It also allows us to completely ignore the Simon Says mechanic because Chow will just refill your mana bar to maximum, even if you get mana drained. Yeah, I pretty much ignored the Simon Says the whole fight. We never got mana drained because the boss's Simon Says just kept lining up with what I was doing anyway. But again, if the boss said like use magic or guard someone, I would tell you no, not doing it. Now as far as Kaito goes, for this strategy, Kaito is critical. Kaito could not be replaced without adjusting the entire turn rotation and lineup. So this is absolutely a Kaito strategy. Everyone else could potentially be replaced. Anyway, here's the gear. So Chow, we never used the shift form, so we didn't gear that. we are using one source of counter with a Blizzard Orb. We're not using any counter up gear, and we are gearing him for defense, as high as defense as you can. Make sure you door pot him and go all in on defense, because the physical damage is going to hit Chow way harder than the magical damage. Also, very, very important, give him a source of auto protect. This is our only source of physical mitigation on the entire party, is a 30% auto buff. If you're using someone that buffs physical mitigation, not important. But we're not, we need that physical mitigation. And here is the gear we're using. He was the pure tank the entire clear. And passive provoke from the diadem. If you're not using the diadem, just make sure you always maintain his active provoke. Kresnik, I gave him a Blizzard Orb so he can counter an AoE physical every now and then. It's not important if you don't have 2 Blizzard Orbs. He does have 50% or better evasion, by the way, so does Chow. 50 or better evasion physical, because we're using accuracy down, and some turns the boss does not have evade down on the party. Lightning fast legend, so he can support chain with extreme nova. Other than that, just some spirit and bulk. Obsidian bracer is not really important, honestly, because we break on turn 1. But you know, just as a force of habit, I recommend you always equip obsidian bracer on someone anyway, just for the safety. But technically, not needed for this clear. And here's his card. Roberta, in the base form, is using a source of guts. I gave him the chocobo feather for gut source. Other than that, just killers versus fairies and dragon. Here is the loadout we did. Now, Roberta in the base form is not using any evasion whatsoever. No evasion, so it's a little bit risky that sometimes the physical attacks will hit Roberta when the rest of the party is evading. For example, turn 6, Roberta did take a big slap to the face. She survived because of guts, so it was okay. But if you want the absolute safety on turn 6, then give her 50 evasion in the base form. Shift form. Now the shift form is geared for the highest MP and the highest magic in the party, so that we always take 2 of the cruel phase on turns 1, turn 4, and that's it, turn 1 and 4. So give her a decent spirit. I really recommend you door pot her all the way. High spirit, 50% or better evasion, again, so that we can evade the stuff on the non-evade down turns. Yeah, it kind of sounded weird, but you get it. Guts for the safety. Here's the build we're using, and there we go. Esther in the base form is using a source of guts for the safety. She has 50 evade naturally. LB damage versus dragons and fairies. I think she's maxed on everything. She is, so there we go. Shift form is dual wielding with a water, ice, or dark weapon, and we're using Barrage. She deals with the Mirage on turn 1 and seals the boss for us in the shift form. Now, don't start her in the shift form, because she'll auto cover if you do, and that would just ruin the whole plan. Do not start her in the shift form, but shift her on turn 1 and do that. And she should probably have the highest defense in the party just innately, so we're going to make sure to give her high spirit as well, so the one attack that does hit her, the defense scaling one, doesn't actually kill her. Kaito in the base form is kind of whatever. This base form is not super relevant. We never really used it for damage. I just geared it for spirit. Because I kind of messed up the gearing, we actually never took a Cruel Fae at all on Kaito. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, whatever. Shift form, I would have loved for him to have the highest attack power on turn 1. Unfortunately, my buffed Sky beats him by 10 attack power over my EX2 Kaito, but whatever. I could move things around and fix that probably. But here's the build. Chain cap up. I gave him a source of guts. He's got evasion naturally, so we did his LB. His LB is slightly lower damage than his modifier boosted chains, but his LB is just way easier to do because it doesn't have like a big long convoluted setup like his chains do. I recommend Clash of Wills is hitting your party pretty hard, so I recommend you defensive stat pot all your Clash of Wills units. Maxed LB, maxed everything, and then we showed the base form. And Sky. Base form Sky is just, using TMR, Tyvuses, some guts, some spirit, whatever. And then shift form, Unfortunately, Sky is really showing her age. You know, most units these days have like 30k HP, 2000 spirit. Sky is back in the paper thin days. She has terrible defensive stats. So when she takes the Cruel Fade to the face, she dies. Gotta have guts. Gotta have guts. Or, you know, gear someone like Kaito to have higher attack power than her after a buff. Unfortunately, I kind of messed that up. Anyway, LB damage versus spirits and dragons. There we go. Maxed, and actually a little bit low on Dragon Killer. I could maybe fix. Oh no, I had to actually. You know what I could have done is given her the eye patch. Whoops. Yeah, no one actually using this. I should have done. Oh my god, that would have lowered her attack power to lower. That would have maxed her killers and lowered her attack power. This is the build we should have used. So if you're copying my gear point for point, yeah, do this build. This will give her lower attack power than Kaito, meaning Kaito will eat that Cruel Fey, and Sky will deal more damage by having maxed out killers. So there we go. And that was the party. I'll post a turn chart in the comments, and over the course of this weekend, this week, etc., I will be working out budget clears. I will be working out rank 1 clears that don't involve brand new units like Kaito, that hopefully don't involve Chow. I will try it. I can't promise it'll happen, but I will promise you that I will try to make it happen. Okay, hope it helps. There was the rank 1 setup, and see you guys next time.